Hello and good morning to everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the demonstration of the CBRC webpage. I'd like to point out initially that the selections on the top row right under the main title bar are all also duplicated at the very bottom of the page without a drop-down menu. So at any time, if you want to go directly to any one of these selections, they're available on the bottom and the top. I'd like to start with the rivers selection, which is also what we're looking at directly here. You'll see that our new web page has a great deal of information on it, from rivers and where they are in terms of bank full stage or flood stage. Also, you're able to, as in almost like a GIS, select data points, forecast points, reservoirs, and so on. So I'll let you all play with that. We also have included directly forecast groups, which are made from our GIS activities here in geospatial analysis, as well as basins, so that you can drill down to any particular basin level. The forecast groups, we break Colorado up by HUCs 16, 15, and 14, and then all the sub-basins within them and all the particular individual basins. So you can pick any particular basin. In this case, we'll pick Lake Powell, and the display will drop down directly to Lake Powell. You can pick, then you can pick that particular point, select that point. This is Colorado at Cisco. You'll get a pop-up display, which is quite handy if you just want to take a short look. You can also, just like with Google Maps, you're able to slide the display any direction that you want and show those particular points. We'll go down here to the bottom of Lake Powell, select reservoirs, and there's Lake Powell. Select it, pull up the particular pop-up graph for that. Then I'd also like to say, if you select this pop-up, you'll go directly to a much more high-resolution graph that has inflow, storage, and outflow often. The outflow doesn't seem to be on this particular page, but here, we'll go back here. So those are all really quite good things, and then we'll go directly back. So that's all quite useful. We have I'll go through a few more of these. Conditions list is a great way if you know already what you're looking for. Select conditions list. National Weather Service IDs are listed over here. Also, the subbasins are listed in here, so you can go to the green Lake Powell, Upper Colorado, Great Basin, wherever you like. It will pull up those particular points. There's no particular order here except for alphabetical. If we were in a flooding event and you were interested in the forecast condition, whether it was rising near bank full, or at flood stage, you can pick this particular column heading and it will rank them and sort them that way. You can do that with any of the information up here. Flood stages are available. We can rank them that way. We were at Plain City, flood stage is 27 feet, and so on. That can be very useful. We have active points, which right now it looks like we have none. Forecast points is what we were just looking at. We can look at reservoir. We can look at non-forecast points, which means we have data on these, but we don't have enough historical data to actually make them do a simulation. And then we have all. We'll go back up here to rivers. We also have peak flow lists. Our peak flow forecast process starts in March. We haven't begun it yet. It's a probability, exceedance probability for given peak flows and on the day. We've also have a peak flow archive where you can pick any particular year, go to that month, since these are all have already occurred. we've listed the observed peak and the date of the observation. We have a recreational forecast product that we put out every day for selected points within the Colorado and Great Basins. We monitor whether it's rising, falling, or steady, and what the current flow is, as well as you can drill down on any of these particular sites to look directly at what the current flow is. In addition, we have text products that we generally send to our stakeholders, which are the BOR. They can be the water conservancy districts in various states and cities. They can be public utilities and local municipalities and so on. And these are individual products, text products for those particular users. The 5-day flood outlook is a national product. It's just sort of a warning product, a heads up product. It's just essentially a giant map of the basin. If we have problems, there'll be polygons that indicate where the flooding is expected. AHAP's data is the National Advanced Hydrologic Prediction System. It's can be found at water.weather.gov, and it's a national view of what's going on. It also links to all the other National Weather Service graphical forecasts, radar, national meteorology maps, observed precip, and so forth. So that's also quite a useful link. And that pretty much does it for the river section in a nutshell. We'll go to the snow tab here. The snow tab, just like the river tab, you can select forecast groups, basins, all sites, no data sites. You can get rid of those. Let's see, do we have any no data sites? There's the one up there, which disappears. And then you can select by elevation. This can be useful depending on which particular basin you're interested in. Selecting the basin, say, drilling down to a particular place. We'll take the Bear Basin, for instance, which is on the border of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. We'll go look at the highest elevations, which are in the western Uintas here. And you get a much more customized view. Plus, you get all of the snow tells listed on the site. You can select any one of the listings. Now in the listings, this is a new service we're offering. The wet rank, the dry rank, the total number of years. So you can see the average. The purple line is the median. The red line is last year, and the green line is the current year. So there's quite a bit of information. If you drill down in further, you get even more information. You can select similar years, similar patterns. It's quite a nice tool for looking at snow at an individual basin. As well as on the others, you can, let's see, let's select the Yampa white Yampa, no data. We can change the terrain. We can go to terrain, which could be quite useful for actually looking at a particular basin or zone. And just like Google Maps, you can zoom in on any particular spot and then pull it up if that's of use to you. We're also listing our standard default is percent median, which is the same as the NRCS. We used to, for many years, use percent of average. You can still do that, or you can do a percentile ranking as well. So these are all useful tools for snow. Moving along, the water supply tab. This is based on our daily ESP, also on our monthly official forecast. We have a number of water supply products that we list here. This is the forecast map. It also is in, the listings are based on our water supply percentages. 90 to 110% is considered average. So you'll notice from this particular graphic that the Upper Colorado is mostly in the average range. and that the Great Basin and parts of the upper Green are in the slightly below average range. Moving on further, you have all the same selections. We can drill down to any particular subbasin and so on. Moving through the list of products, we also have the forecast list. We have a discussion. This comes out once a month. It's a PDF product, which is why it's not loading so quickly. So I'll go back. The PDF product is listed, is also in the publication section. This is where we put all of our official forecasts every month are listed, and the discussion is actually in here as well. We have a little bit of a bandwidth problem here out of the RFC today, so I'm not going to pick on any particular one. Let's try the Great Basin here. So you'll see in the table of contents, we break down the Great Basin into all of its subbasins, their conditions, precip maps, reservoir contents, definitions, as well. We have that overall discussion is listed in there as well. We have a publication archive if you want to look back in time. Our daily ESP is a product where you can track on a daily basis what's happening to the official forecasts. This is quite a useful tool for many people. We'll pull it up here. So it gives the exceedance probability of the 10% and 90%. And then this is the 50% exceedance probability with the 10, 90, and 50% of the official forecast. This one was for January for Animas Durango for the April-July runoff. So you can see that we really haven't had, that Animas has not had much snow this month, and that the forecast for April-July is going down. Text outlooks. These are products that we send to other weather forecast office in general. If you're interested in flood outlooks or water supply outlooks, you can select any of these. Documentation is something that we put there for our users if they're interested in knowing more about ensemble stream flow prediction, forecast point information, evolution of water supply forecast, and so on. Moving along, precipitation maps, monthly precipitation maps, both seasonal and monthly for the year. This is also an archive. This is 2014, but you can pick any particular month you'd like. We also were compiling Western U.S. data. We're missing the Columbia Basin due to a format issue with another RFC, but you can see the CBRC, the California, Nevada, the Missouri Basin, Arkansas Basin, West Gulf, and so it's kind of a nice product to just have a general look at the overall. We also have seasonal precipitation listed here, which is down on this level, and here is 2014. So heading back. Temperature data is also available on a monthly time step. Soil moisture. We account for soil moisture daily with precipitation. It's in our model all year long. It's being updated. But these particular maps are percent of average generally for November 1st or December 31st, as that we believe that plays into the overall water supply efficiency. If it's high in the fall on November 1st, or if it's low, it will definitely drag down the overall April through July forecast. So we have some maps related to that, and they're also trimmed to areas where the extent is in the upper part of the basins, where the majority of the water is coming from during spring runoff and is greater than an inch. In addition to that, there are some internal tools. I think I'll just skip that. We have a separate reservoirs forecast. Let's see if we can make conditions. So this is just overall overall conditions. It's not a map per se. DamCrit is an internal tool that we use to monitor where the elevation is, where past flow is, what the 5-day peak is, and so forth. WebCat is also an internal tool, and DamBreak is as well. If you're interested in the weather that we're using in our model for forcings, we have the forecast precip. This is QPF. This is quantitative precipitation forecast. You can find that information. Our observed is this has been updated. This is not, the legacy was daily QC and multi-sensor precipitation. Now we're gridding it. We have the temperature, max, min, freezing level, and precipitation that were input on a particular day. We have text products. We also show radar products that link to our WFO here in Salt Lake and the national product. Then we have satellite, and then the legacy is what I talked about, MPE and daily QC. You can pull up past month's products, so you can check on a particular day how much did it rain. We're doing that again on this new website, on this new web page, and feel that that it does a very good job this way. Climate information obviously is very important, so we put climate information from various CPC and NCEP, which are both NOAA climate centers. You can find that there. Climate change information, we have guides, global warming, frequently asked questions, a guide for the perplexed, and several other links there for people. We have data indices that address what's currently going on in terms of the overall thinking of what's affecting climate and the latest average temperatures and so forth. We also have a link to the El Nino La Nina pages that are otherwise known as ENSO forecasts. And so there's a fair bit of information in here. That pretty much covers it. The rest of it, help, general and water supply forecast, peak forecast is all information related to our forecasts. It's a glossary. There's acronyms that are explained. It's a useful page if you're not familiar with our general forecasting. Let's see, the office, this is information on contacts, podcasts, downloads. You can also find past presentation of monthly water supply webinars, peak flow webinars, and other presentations that we do. We have some links here, but most of these are internal. This one is a good one, the National Weather Service offices. It's a general guide to all the river forecast centers, all the weather forecast offices that are in the CVRC, and the general regional offices, which we are in the Western region. So I think that about covers it for now. If you have any questions, feel free to drop Webmaster an email, and we'll be happy to address it. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.